Thank you for joining us for Weekdays Live with Reverend Al Sharpton. Take the time to share this broadcast right now. Tell your friends it's time to keep it real with Reverend Al. Comment your questions now in the chat or call Reverend Al Sharpton directly on air at 877-532-5797. Now stay tuned for Reverend Al.
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. As you watch the broadcast, support National Action Network. Go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and be involved. You can join, take your membership right online, www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Getting ready to start the program, but we need you to be part of the movement.
In London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Guys! What's up, Doc?
So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive.
Yes, sir.
There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength. We had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
You live, Rev.
It's Tuesday, February the 10th. Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton's time. And for these next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. Good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM Channel 126. The Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I'm coming to you from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, and you can call in the next 3 hours and be heard nationwide, every state, every region of the country. All you have to do is call me at 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797. And I saw Wanda had gone on our message board. People already on the message board. Wanda said good morning or good afternoon. I pulled back Wanda up. Well, that's good. James Thomas is saying the board's moving so fast, I can't get you. But James Thomas is saying good afternoon, Reverend Sharpton and Nan family, and happy Tell It All Tuesday to all. And I hope that Farmer John Boyd get to tell his story, and he will. I'm going to reach out to him. So many people we are booking because I'm trying to keep the senators and governors on the hot seat, but I'm also going to try to get some of the others on, and I definitely want to reach John Boyd. Let me, the mayor, Rodney Jones, says, good afternoon, my shepherd. So needless to say that Wanda Jackson is saying good afternoon, everyone. Needless to say, the board is up and running, and we getting a lot of people on this Tell It Tuesday. You know, I had a member of NAN that used to come to Saturday rallies, and when things got a little heated and emotional in the rally or good part in the message, she'd yell, tell it, tell it, tell it. So that's why we named it. One of our listeners said, Tell It All Tuesday. So I call it Tell It, Tell It, Tell It All Tuesday. And we need to tell it, a lot to tell. So we see that on yesterday, let's start there, at the congressional hearing on Epstein. And I might remind people that it was the right wing that made the Epstein files, led by Donald Trump, an issue, because they said they were hiding the Democrat, liberal billionaires and establishment leaders who were engaged with Epstein and this pedophilia. Once Trump came in, he dropped it because he knew he had a relationship and didn't say, no, we don't need to go through all that. So they are now being ensnared by their own plot. And now the Epstein files, at the testimony yesterday, Ghislaine Maxwell took the fifth, and she's putting them up against the wall. She said, no, I want Biden, I'm almost said Biden. It's Trump. She said, I want Trump to commute my sentence, and I'll tell y'all everything after that. But I'm not going to talk until y'all say everything. They let the select first group of legislators in the Senate and Congress see some of the redacted evidence that they had, and they unredacted some of it. But then some of them came out saying, no, they didn't unredact enough, and they did not go for it. So now the Department of Justice is unredacting more files after Republican Congressman Thomas Massey and others complained about it. And we already see that there was some business dealings with Lutnick, who was a member of Trump's cabinet, And there's suspicion, clear suspicion, that Trump's name has been appeared much more than they thought, and they redacted some of that. Now they're going to have to unredact more. So this is not going away, nor should it. Nor should it. If you've got pedophiles running government, we ought to know and get them out of government, and they ought to be facing the full extent of the law. If we have members of the corporate elite running corporations, we ought to know. We ought to know if we buying products from people that would violate 9-year-old kids. One was supposed to be 9 years old at the time. I mean, are we going to officially become a nation of Sodom and Gomorrah? Think about that. Then we see at the same time there's growing outrage on the Department of Homeland Security, where the Congress is kind of standing up to the whole question of whether or not they're going to demand a reform to the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, or they're going to block DHS funding without getting those reforms. And key Democrats, including Angus King and Chris Murphy, are saying they will not support, NOT, not support DHS funding short term to keep the government shutdown from happening without real reforms. And even Democratic leader of the Senate, Chuck Schumer, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries have said that the Republicans' proposals are insufficient and incomplete. So we got that to talk about. The Epstein files, the jockeying around immigration rights, and what's going to happen to ICE, who has now shot 3 people, killed 2 of them in cold blood. And I think that it is top of the news, but also that ought to be top of mind is the redistricting they're trying all over the country. They're trying to draw these new districts everywhere. And in Maryland is now the battleground for that. Governor Westmore has thrown down the gauntlet. He's fighting that. They want to redraw these lines so they can save, they think, some seats. And the voting rights decision is still not down from the Supreme Court. So a lot to talk about on this Tell It All Tuesday. James Mitchell's writing from to let us know that New York Lieutenant Governor Delgado has dropped out of the New York governor's race. And I received that word about 2 hours ago. This was the lieutenant governor, brother, who was challenging Hochul. And now Hochul has said, fine, I'll run former city council president Adrian Adams, who was a member of NAN, been a member 20 years. And I guess Delgado, former congressman, who she had made her lieutenant governor, has pulled out now. I guess he feels he cannot. I don't know what he feels. Let me not read into it. But it will clearly be no primary now. It will be on to her against Blakeman as who will be the next governor in New York. Interesting news development. And I think it is interesting that people need to really, really be deliberate, focused, and follow through. I think maybe because, and I'm not sure, but maybe because that we have, let me put it this way, the reason I hesitated is that we have the tendency of not growing and not being able to deal with the times that we're in. And if you don't grow and become strategic, you know, some people are still playing off a 1986 playbook when we're in 2026. If you're trying to win, you adjust to where you are and keep the same principles and the same destination. I mean, a lot of people in activism that is more in ignorance than activism. They say, well, we got to do what we did in the 80s. We're not in the 80s. So you got to appeal to differently to people. You're talking to people now. My grandson's 7 years old. He doesn't know a world that didn't have a black president when he was born. So if you're talking before that, you're not effective. You're stuck. Don't be stuck. Grow. We're smart enough to handle the times that we're in with the same goals, same principles. Are we after the goals or are we after the style and the being stuck? Let's take a break. Let's come back to the phones. It's Tell It All Tuesday. Sharpton. We'll be right back.
Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We're going to organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not going to throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton for the month of February, Black History Month. The Saturday Action Rally will be at Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're glad as we transition into our new headquarters. Our 4 Saturdays of Black History Month, we'll be doing those rallies at Mother AME Zion. Stand on historic ground, holy ground, where Frederick Douglass spoke, where Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized, where Sojourner Truth had a Underground Railroad come through. I'm so excited about being there as it prepares us to move on to our new headquarters. Let's go back and stand on the rock that our people stood on for decades. Thank God I was blessed to have both in my life, both historic, strong figures. But if I misuse them and listen to not only figures that are not as historic as them, but figures that had nothing to do with the calling and purpose of my life, I would live confused. I'd be double-minded. I'm clear. What I want you to do is be clear. Clear on who you are, why you are. And a lot of that will be exposed to you and others by who you are around and who you allow to enter your head. Keep people at a distance that only have a distant, unclear vision of who you are and who you are supposed to be. They could be your blood relatives, but they could not be the ones that accompany you toward what you ought to be about. Everybody good to you ain't good for you. Everybody that makes you laugh sometimes end up making you a joke. Around this is so wicked. Now they're going to, they released last night a memo that said that the FBI was investigating good. They're trying to come up with something on the victim. Not they're going to investigate who shot her. The ICE agent shooting in the head 3 times. They're going to investigate her. And you wonder why we need movements. You wonder why we need to stand up Hakeem Jeffries was here Monday. Why we need to deal with this midterm election. Well, Reverend, I get calls on my radio show every day. Well, I don't see where voting changed them. All right, let me tell you where if they lose the Congress this year, where it changes. The Speaker would be Hakeem Jeffries, who grew up right here in Name, as he said on Monday. The Speaker decides then the calendar for the legislative session. The chairs of the committees become Democrats. So the Judiciary Committee, now watch this in the barbershop. The chair of the Judiciary Committee, y'all saw the Judiciary Committee have the hearing and brought in the special counsel yesterday. Well, the chair this time, if the Democrats win, would be a Democrat who could then subpoena the Attorney General Bondi, all of the folks that were involved in January 6th. They can subpoena the vice president, all of them, because you've got the power of the gavel. Wonder why nobody is at. And we're back. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go to our message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and you can there go to live stream, put up a message, as Rosa Robinson has put up. Good Thankful Tuesday afternoon, Nan family, and this is Certainly Tell It Tuesday, and bless you, Rosa. Tanya Stovall has said Reverend Sharpton has become a bigger man and well-known person all over the world. Well, thank you for that, Tanya. And, our international panel, I just had a weekly meeting on our upcoming convention, and they're coming in from London and 3 nations in Africa for our international panel this year. It's going to be quite a convention. We have, I'm again not releasing names, probably, I wanted to say the end of this week, but I may even wait till the weekend. But I can tell you we have at least 3 people that are talking about running for president, 28 coming, governors that are predicted to run and have not denied they're running, and we'll probably have more than that. We have top academicians, top preachers, top labor leaders. It's going to be a convention even better than last year, and we already have, as of yesterday, 3,771 people that have registered for the convention. You that want to wait are not going to be, y'all going to be where we close out, because I have to close at a certain spot to save enough for our chapters coming in and our young people coming in off the tour, the HBCU tour that we've not completed. So I suggest everybody that intends to come, sign up now, because once we come off the tour, I think they have about 8 colleges left. I'm doing 3 or 4 of them myself. So we may end up way at bumping up our limit to make sure that we can fit in those college students and our chapter leaders with guaranteed seats. Registration is free. It's free all of the sessions, but we take registration to make sure that those that took the time to register get in all of the workshops and all of the sessions. And people spending their money and paying for their rooms and all that, they should be able to get in the sessions. Most organizations, you pay for your transportation and rooms and then have to pay a registration fee. I don't pay your transportation and rooms, but I don't charge no registration fee. So all you got to do is register. And I appreciate that. I appreciate George George Daniello Sr. says Reverend Al Sharpton is the real deal. Well, I try to be this. Thank you for that. Let me also, as I'm doing announcements, I said about the convention, don't forget Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday and Sunday, live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Every Saturday and Sunday I don't waste a lot of time talking to people that are just giving intellectual diatribes. And I enjoy them now, don't get me wrong. I read a lot. I like to hear smart people talk. But I like to have maybe one of them a night, and I like to have 2 or 3 people that are in the Senate or in a governor's seat or in the Congress, so I can ask them, what are y'all doing specifically about this? And black folks. Because I want my show to be about getting something done, not talking about just theory. And we need theories. We need theory, we need policy. But then we need to put on people that we're going to put their feet to the fire and say, why don't we have this? What's going on with that? Who's blocking this? Real life stuff. That's what we do on Politics Nation with Al Sharpton every Saturday and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And, of course, you that are in the New York area, come to the Saturday Action Rally. We are now in Black History Month, and we're meeting Saturdays, regular time, Saturday Action Rally. We're at Mother Amy Zion Church, which is in Harlem, 137th, between Lenox and 7th, and 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. live on the radio, WBLS, for those in the New York region, on Impact TV, for all of you around the world, or www.nationalactionnetwork.net. And it was just about 0 degrees Saturday, and a couple hundred people came to the rally, and thousands watched. I mean, I looked at the numbers. We had going on about 10, 12,000 YouTube people watching. So we should have a lot more than that, because we're in serious times. So be involved with us, Black History Month, right there in the historic site of Mother Amy Zion Church of Frederick Douglass. Paul Robeson was a member of that church. Madam C.J. Walker buried there. We right there where history was made. And maybe it's the spiritual side of me, but I like to be around where history was made, because there's a connection on that sacred ground to me. You may not go for that, and that's fine. But I do. And let's go for what works. Mayor Rodney Jones of Queensbridge Houses is saying the silence of Ted Cruz and Marco Rubio is deafening. This is what they think of Latinos. And I think that's a very good point you're raising, Mr. Mayor, because this whole question of deportation, and then they're getting Latino votes to stay in power, is a contradiction. You can't do that, or you should not be able to get away with that. Let's put it that way. And people need to really, really, really deal with that. And I think that we all, Kennedy Marie Shabazz is saying, I was watching the hearings on Capitol Hill, and unfortunately the ICE director had the nerve to say that they're getting started. They are just getting started. I advise everyone to stay focused, and I suggest anyone that doesn't have an identification card to get out and get it. Yeah, he said that. He said they're just getting started. They're getting ready to deal with just pulling people over. We fought in the 90s and got some racial profiling laws on the book. Now we got to deal with these immigration laws. Rem Sharpton ain't got nothing to do with our community. It's got everything to do with our community. They stopping blacks and browns. That's who they going after. I told a guy the other week that if they're stopping Haitians and you're from Georgia, do you think you look any different to them? To an ICE agent, a Haitian look like he's from Georgia, and a Georgian look like they're from Haiti. Wake up. Stop living in 1955. It's a new day. You're wearing platform shoes and bell-bottom pants. They don't wear no more. Wake up. Where you been, sleep or in jail? The styles have changed, the issues updated, but the truth is the same. And if you really believe in the truth, you'll fashion yourself in a way that you can tell the truth in 2026. Let's take a break, be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton.
That I
Tell
want to
it
end.
Tuesday.
He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
I'll tell you that.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that have been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first, and we'll be last. We know who we are.
We have a short visit today, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We would go. Yeah, we was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine. Good.
Last time, and we
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have a slave.
Yeah, that's what exactly. That was exactly.
I just remember the two people that most influenced my life are from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road. I went Jesse walked me to my mother's kitchen.
Wow.
To South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people come too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And when I knew Jesse was from James, I started president.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about it in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and him and pushing the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 40, because Greenville right up to I-20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you got to listen to me. But, tradition to be standing with nurses and standing with those that should be getting wages for saving the lives and caring for people that the private hospitals and other hospitals seem not to care about. How can you spend King Day and turn your back on people that are working and not insured right and not given the right wages and not given the right respect when they're taking care of our afflicted, our ill, our infirm? In the name of Martin Luther King, I join the nurses in demanding justice for the nurses. This is not only a labor issue, this is a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue. It's an issue that black and white, Latino, Reverend Al Sharpton, can stand together. And we're back. It's Tell It Tuesday. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go on the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net. All right, let me start with my calls. I see my dear friend, the beloved Miss Eunice of Chicago. Let me go to Miss Eunice. I missed her yesterday. Miss Eunice, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good afternoon, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Today?
I'm all right.
I'm doing wonderful. And I'd like to say, as usual, God bless Reverend Jackson.
Yes.
You know, Reverend, Trump shows his true racism. He uninvited the only black governor, Westmore. Is that the governor's dinner?
Yeah. That's the dinners they do for the governors, yes. Which is bipartisan, by the way.
Right. Uh-huh. Okay, you know, Reverend, it's constantly on my mind how Mitch McConnell handled the two impeachments of Donald Trump. And then the Supreme Court said he could do what he wants, and the elected officials have not done their job. The lying and deceit is hurting all of us in the country, and I wonder where does all this go? Only God knows, and I'm praying that we get justice. Reverend, some time ago, which I don't know, maybe over a couple of years, it's Black History Month. My cousin, Jay Rollins, we call him Jay, you had him on your show, and he was a Navy pilot and American airline pilot for 25 years. And he was telling me they had some programs for young people, And my great grandson is going into the field, so we have someone in the family that can help. And maybe you can get him on your show to talk about the programs for the young people.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're doing a
Okay.
whole lot of outreach. Our youth department is doing outreaches at HBCUs. We got the tour going now, and I'd love to integrate that into the convention. Hold on a minute, Miss Eunice. Give his contacts to my producer so I can have the folks on my TV staff. You know, I have different staffs doing different things. I got National Action Network staff, and I have Politics Nation staff, and we had a Keepin' It Real staff. But I'll get it to my TV and radio staff. I'd love to do that.
Okay. And one final thing. I pray for the Guthrie family, but that is really a mystery. And thank you for taking my call.
I definitely thank you for your call. I'm glad you brought that up. I certainly pray for Savannah and her family. When we were still MSNBC, we were all at 30 Rock together. I'd see her a lot. Sometimes we bumping each other traveling. And Samantha's a fine person and loved her mother. But I would say that for anybody's mother. It's mystifying. I just hope it works out well. Let me go to Tyrone in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tyrone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Right here, straight from Milwaukee. My friend, Reverend Sharpton.
Yeah.
And your family. Excuse me, Dominique, Ashley, and your grandson. Welcome Black History Month to you and them, and I hope that you're all doing well. It's always good to hear from my friend right next door, Miss Eunice herself. Good afternoon, ma'am. Always nice to know I'm just 90 miles north of you here in Milwaukee. That's a special treat. Always good to hear from her, as well as the young man that's working the phones and the board there. Very cordial young man. Always good to talk with him as well. But am I coming through clearly or not?
Yeah, well, you coming through. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, thank you. Telepathy is amazing because it's almost like you were scanning my brain and my thoughts, and you're getting things set up there. As we're talking ICE and all these different things here, locally as well as branching out. But let me just say, there's our sheriffs there. I vote for my sheriff.
All right.
I vote for my head sheriff. I'm pretty sure most counties and states, cities and states do that. But our police chief is appointed by our mayor. But from the governor, mayor down to police chief, I mean, there's no question answer sessions nowhere that I've been aware of here in Milwaukee that are saying, well, what they're going to do, let alone what we're going to do as citizens, if ICE overextended their boundaries, especially with elections coming up here. I don't know if Tony Evers is going to, with his age and all, we've got our county exec, Mr. Crawley, in position to run for mayor, but we'll see how that pans out through the election. But it appears to me that there should be summits with the police chief, the mayor, and the governors to say, well, this is what we're going to do if our boundaries are overstepped or preceded, and whatever. This is what we're going to do. Let's have some question-answer sessions so we can so our citizens can call in, at least on the phone there, radio, if not TV. None of that here in Milwaukee so far. And I just wanted to run this by you real quick before I go. Would that be grounds enough for the governors and likewise, like-minded states there, Democrat, Republican, whatever, to call in the National Guard and have ICE escorted to the border or escorted to wherever to say, well, you've been asked to leave, so we're here to help you, get your way out here, pound sand or punt bricks or whatever, but you be on your way. So
you're asking whether the governors have the legal power to do it, or whether that
well,
was
that as well, yeah. But yes, sir. That question as well, because they've got the power to call in the National Guard. But would it be justified for them to ask them to help escort ICE agents out, and then where the summits and the meetings of the mayors, the police chiefs, and even the sheriff, even though we vote for her. Or them and these governors. Where are the meetings? Where are the summits? And I'll hang up and listen.
All right, thank you for your call.
Thank you.
I think
very much.
I think it's a very interesting question because the governors do have the legal power and the state power to activate the National Guard. Now, is there a line drawn between that they cannot interfere with a federal operation like ICE? I'm not sure. I'm definitely intrigued by the question. Let me find out about that, because that would be something that I could advocate for them to do if they can legally do it. That's a very good question. Very good question, Tyrone. Let's go, Brother Jacob in Philadelphia, WURD, word.
Peace be unto you, Reverend Sharpton, and your worldwide audience, man. Peace be unto you. You know, you said this is Tell It All Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to tell my part of it all.
All right.
And you know, we in Black History Month, right? And
Right.
you know, this president, man, the Epstein files are being redacted. But I want to say that ain't the only thing they're trying to redact in this Black History Month, because here in Philadelphia, 3:30 today, we're going to be assembling at 6th and Market at the Liberty Bell area, where the first White House was, where President George Washington lived with 9 enslaved Africans as his servants, right?
Right.
And they always got that saying talking about George Washington never told a lie, right? I say we would never tell a lie on George Washington, because this was the truth, nothing but the truth, so help us God. We telling y'all the truth. America, Black history. We in this month, this is what happened, right? And, you know, it was a national story. They had crowbars peeling the history off of the walls, man, and got it stored in an old, I hear, like warehouse type place, just laying against the wall, no crated, you know, like just don't care nothing. You know, the leadership that we see, Reverend Sharpton in D.C., if we can remember what Kanye West said about Bush, he said, President Bush don't care about Black people, right? And he was just about right.
Yep.
Now, we could say this here about Trump. He don't care about Black people. He don't even care about the low-income MAGA whites, the middle-class MAGA whites. He only care about the filthy rich white people, right?
Right.
So we see what they working with, and if America don't come together with these truths, right? I think, you know, and God being in charge, watching. If we don't get it together now, Reverend, now, what say you about? I mean, we would deserve it, wouldn't we, Reverend? Now.
Yeah, I think if we don't get it together now, not only will we deserve it, we caused it, because we caused it by not getting together. And I think that one goes hand in hand. I think what you're saying is very profound, Brother Jacob, because the cause will be the effect of our not doing what we could do. You know, people get mad till they get glad when I say it, but we caused where we are. We had the numbers and ability to elect Kamala Harris. And a lot of people don't like me going back there, but we're only in the second month of the new year. We're only talking 4 months ago. If we had done what we were supposed to do, particularly Black men that got conned by Trump, we put ourselves in this position. So we got to bring ourselves out. You cannot blame anybody but us. So therefore, we got the responsibility. Let's take a break. Thank you for your call, Brother Jacob. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton, be right back.
Reverend Sharpton, how do we begin to make peace with our past?
I don't think it's our obligation to make peace with our past. I think it's our obligation to learn from our past and to understand that soon we gonna be the past. I mean, a lot of us act like we gonna be permanent and that the past is the past. If we draw on the strengths of the past and uphold the dignity and the integrity of our people and then perform it at our highest level in our generation, as Dr. Moss said, that's our obligation. You know, one of the reasons that I've been so concerned about this cultural tone that we're in now is a lot of us have lost the dignity that our community has shown from Jamestown to now. I've questioned some of the artists that no longer sing to uplift us. And there's never been a generation that didn't use our music and our culture to lift us up. And the excuse is where they say, well, we just want to show what's there. But we never just accepted what was there. We always looked at what was there and looked through it and brought our people the way it needed to be. So in slavery time, we were singing Go Down Moses and Swing Low Sweet Chariot. We wasn't singing about the cotton picking nigga in the field. That's what we saw, but that's not what we sang. In slavery, in segregation time, we were singing We Shall Overcome. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. We wasn't singing the hoe in the back of the bus. So where is this coming from? And that's what we need to challenge. I wish, all of this about our friend Barack announcing today, I wish Obama had announced here. Because Lincoln did not free us. The abolitionist movement freed us. Lincoln accommodated to freedom fighters. He was not a freedom fighter. Kennedy accommodated the king. Johnson accommodated the king. We got to quit giving the wrong people credit for our history.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton for the month of February, Black History Month. The Saturday Action Rally will be at Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're glad as we transition into our new headquarters. Our 4 Saturdays of Black History Month, we'll be doing those rallies at Mother AME Zion. Stand on historic ground, holy ground, where Frederick Douglass spoke, where Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized, where Sojourner Truth had a Underground Railroad come through. I'm so excited about being there as it prepares us to move on to our new headquarters. Let's go back and stand on the rock that our people stood on for decades. Hi, it's Reverend Al Sharpton, President and founder of National Action Network. We are at the very end of 2025, and I want to first say that I want to thank all of the officers, chapter leaders, regional directors, national staff, and certainly National Board of National Action Network for a solid and absolutely incredible year in 2025. Despite the fact that we are under assault, voting rights, diversity, equity, and inclusion, the battles globally where we're seeing Nigeria and Venezuela attacked, and on and on and on. We have been steadfast as an activist organization in the tradition of Dr. King. We started the year with a national call that thousands responded to, and we were in Washington on our side of town while Trump was being inaugurated on the other side of town. And we made a pledge. We told people to lift their hand and make the pledge, and we kept that pledge to work all year to keep the dream alive. And that led into when Trump went after DEI, we supported some that were boycotting, and we started boycotting, something that had never happened. We said we're going to go buy from those that have committed to keep DEI, and went in several cities around Costco's and Sharpton. We've now bought stock in other companies. We're going to shareholder meeting mandate continued DEI. We've had sensational national action at our convention covering the span of activity, from political empowerment to education, to how we deal with the black church, how we deal with black women development that has to deal with both discrimination based on gender and race. And of course, we came to Wall Street by the thousands and marched in late summer on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And people thought you could not get people out, and they came from all over the country. And we marched on Wall Street and had an enormous turnout. The only mass black march, black-led march this year. We had a lot of protests, a lot of marches. I salute all No Kings marches and all. But the black organization march, it welcomed everybody. We had white, black, everybody there. Was our march on Wall Street in August. And then our Triumph Award and on into our fall agenda of organizing, mobilizing. We've expanded. We've started chapters in about 12 new cities. So I am proud of what we've done this year, but it's only the beginning, because our very rights are under attack, and they're not even being quiet about it. They want to revoke the Voting Rights Act. Section 2 may fall with this bill. They want to end the Civil Rights Act of 64. That's what the end of DEI is about. So let us be more alert and active than ever. History will decide whether the civil rights gains of the 50s and 60s died in the 2020s. That's on your watch and mine. So if we've got to march, we have to protest, we have to lobby, we have to rally, whatever we need to do, we need to put our shoulder to the wheel more than ever. I'm going to lay out a plan on King Day, both in Harlem at our annual event and in Washington at our annual Martin Luther King Day breakfast that we do in D.C., two cities that day. And then, of course, all roads lead to New York to paper for our convention. We had, as I said, the largest attended convention last year in 2025. It needs to be more this year because our very existence is at stake. We also are closing our negotiations on a new headquarters, our national headquarters that befit our mission. I'm so excited about it, but I can't give you details. We're just about ready to sign the contract, but it will be something that will last longer than many of our lifetimes. So we came alive in 25, despite a hostile administration, despite the fact that a lot of people were intimidated and spooked into silence. We came alive in 25. Now we have to straighten out tricks in 26. I need you, we need each other. Let's do this. All these tricks, don't forget, Trump only won by 1.5%. He is trying to act like he has a mandate. No, he has a mission, Project 2025. We have the mandate that we can't let them undo what has been done. And we must even go further for the empowerment of all people. Happy New Year, and be focused. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Disco Brian in Philadelphia, WURD Word. Disco Brian.
Reverend Sharpton?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your tireless witness. Rev, today I'm reflecting on the one and only time in the United States when we united to join the Allied powers' war against fascism. And what was happening here culturally, especially musically at the time, Rev, in the 30s and 40s. And, you know, I join you in asking with pain in my heart, where is today's message music? Why aren't the hit makers writing anti-MAGA anthems? Why is Kanye West writing songs like Heil Hitler? And for a moment, Rev, it pains me to recall that there were no major anti-Hitler, anti-fascist chart toppers back in those early years of World War II, or in the early years of the FDR administration. The hits that Americans were hearing were all whitewashed. Bing Crosby's White Christmas, Glenn Miller's In the Mood, Chattanooga Choo Choo, the Andrews Sisters, Rum and Coca-Cola. Those were the hits when Hitler was, you know, starting the doing all the evil stuff, right? And Rev, while there were anti-Hitler, anti-fascist songs that American artists were recording at the time, they were all underground. Folk artists like Leadbelly and Woody Guthrie were performing and recording anti-Hitler, anti-fascist songs in the 30s and 40s. And of course, Billie Holiday turned an anti-lynching poem written by that Jewish immigrant, Abel Meeropol, Strange Fruit, into the song that catapulted the civil rights movement. And she recorded that in 1939, right before we entered World War II. But of course, Rev, as the movie starring Andra Day so vividly exposes, Billie Holiday was targeted and imprisoned for performing that very song multiple times, and none of those anti-fascist anthems that she and Woody Guthrie and Leadbelly recorded became huge chart toppers. So it's kind of like right now, Rev, but then I remember something else. I remembered that both Hitler and Stalin banned jazz, America's most powerful soft power export, in the 30s and 40s. And both Hitler and Stalin's anti-democratic regimes created anti-jazz propaganda, which was as racist against black people as it was anti-Semitic against Jews.
Right.
Both Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia denounced jazz as a decadent Western art form created by black and Jewish Americans, and both of those disgraceful regimes warned that jazz threatened German Nazi and Russian communist rule, which, Rev, is a long way for me to just say, I am so excited about what's happening tonight on PBS, which is the second installment of the incredible series, a 4-part series for Black History Month called Black and Jewish in America. And it's on at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. And Rev, I am so excited. I know you're in it.
Yeah, I did an interview for it. Dr. Henry Louis Gates did the series, and I've not seen. I told him because of my schedule, because I do meetings at night when I get off the air. I didn't see. I went to the opening, but I didn't again because of schedule. So I don't know which segments I'm in or if I'm on all of them. I don't know. Did you see one? What was in it? Did you see the segment one?
I did, Rev. I saw last week. You were not in last week's. I really would have preferred that they had you in for instead of the person that. I mean, it was all great. I just, I used to love Cornel West until he ran against Kamala Harris, and I really can't take him too seriously. But I'm sure, I know you're coming up. But
I don't know when, but I think the series are worth watching, and I think it's intriguing. I think it's interesting.
It's absolutely brilliant. So for anybody that hasn't seen it, it is fully up on YouTube, episode 1, and then again tonight on PBS at 9 Eastern time and 6 Pacific. And just looking so forward. I know you're going to be in it, Rev. I can't wait to see you in it. I just wish I saw more of you in it. But it's just brilliant. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you for your
taking
call.
my call, Rev.
And thank you for all of your insight that you share with us. Let's go to Charlotte, to Lanisha. Lanisha, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
What'd you say, Rev?
Lanisha in Charlotte.
Hello, how you doing, Reverend? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So let's talk about this ICE hearing that we had on Capitol Hill today. I mean, it was a disaster.
Yeah.
None of the ICE agency apologized to Renee Good and Alex Preddy in their shootings. It was despicable and immoral. Like these people have no conscience. These people have no respect. They need to be abolished. It is shameful what I've seen and I heard in that hearing. And for Republicans, they keep trying to play like this is not a big deal, that these ICE agencies is going around killing people, killing American citizens, and racially profiling them. That is against the law and the Constitution. I mean, the hearing today was despicable, and I'm calling on more people to vote and get out here and organize and protest and say that enough is enough. Donald Trump must go, ICE must be demolished, and we must have new forms to deal with immigration, because this is not it, Reverend. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for calling, and I think you are absolutely right. And it is inconceivable to me what we are allowing to happen right before our very eyes and not doing anything about it. I get so sick and tired of people talking about, if I was alive during slavery, I'd have done this. If I was alive during Jim Crow, I'd have done this. You're alive where ICE people are coming out and just taking people out, and you ain't doing nothing. You're not protesting. You're not voting. You're not networking. And one day your grandchildren are going to say, if I was alive during the ICE raids, during Renee Good, I'd have been out there. I wouldn't have been as low down, lazy, and irrelevant as my granddaddy or my grandmama. That's you. I'm talking about you. Let me go to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Get started, Demetrius. I'm going to have to take a break, and I'll hold you over, but go ahead and get started.
Okay, thank you. Yes, just want to mention a few things. Concerning the redistricting, illegal redistricting, what the Republicans are trying to do, especially Donald Trump. The Republican members in their party got to realize when you have illegal redistricting, it just lead up to one party. You have one party, those in charge of the party, they're going to look out for those, in their interest. They're not going to look out for the common person, the Republicans. So if you don't have an alternative party, they hurting themselves if they endorse this illegal redistricting. They're not going to hurt Democrats. They're going to hurt average working Republican as well.
Right.
It's only those who at the top have money. They're going to look out for themselves. It's going to be just like a dictatorship. You have one person in power, and just look out for those, who backing them. So Republicans who endorsing this, the common Republicans, the working men and women, they're not going to look out for them if they get in power, if they nationalize the elections like they want to do. The common person, working person, going to suffer. It's just going to be those at top going to have the benefits, of the luxury. Going to be struggling just like it was in China, when communism, when Mao was in charge. People were suffering, starving to death. Only those at top going to benefit. Also concerning the Epstein files, I believe it have to be, got to go through the legal system. It can't be no partiality, because everyone in the picture not saying that they committed crimes. But if you let people get off. Even Donald Trump himself, what does it say to those people who've been abused, who've been molested sexually and so forth? They'd be afraid to come out if they feel like those who abuse them is going to get away with it. So they send a wrong message, to those who've been abused, and also to those who perpetuate their abuse as well. But they have the notion like they can get away with it, especially if they have money, they have influence. So it have to be carried out thoroughly. Can't be no partiality. It's not fair for those who are in prison. And we have R. Kelly in prison. We have P. Diddy in prison. Now they doing their time. So there should be no partiality for anyone else.
Hold on a minute. Let me
And
take
have
my
a-
break because I want to follow up something you said. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
King, Dr. Richardson, most of all, let me thank Reverend Al Sharpton for bringing us all here together today. In the Urban Action Network, I am proud to be a candidate for the presidency of the United States of America. But I am mindful that I wouldn't be here if it had not been for Reverend Al Sharpton running for president, and Carol Moseley Brown running for president, and Jesse Jackson running for president, and Shirley Chisholm running for president. They paved the way, and I stand on their shoulders.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
I celebrate the day you were born. You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
For over 3 decades, the National Action Network has stood on the front lines for our communities, fighting for justice, lifting up the voiceless, and showing up where it matters most. Presidents, world leaders, and global changemakers have all testified to Reverend Al Sharpton's impact and National Action Network legacy of good trouble in the fight for equality. This holiday season, our commitment grows even stronger. We're expanding food distributions, toy drives, and direct support for families who need us now more than ever. Stop right now and join the movement.
It is really a intersection of both emotions, because when I was 11 or 12 years old, so I watched the news a lot and I became enthralled with the image of Adam Clayton Powell. I was around 11 and I convinced my mother to let me come up to this church to see Adam Clayton Powell. And in those days, people in Brooklyn used to say it's dangerous to go to Harlem. And folk in Harlem used to say it's dangerous to go to Brooklyn. Now, to 135th Street, and I came, sat right back there. And Adam Clayton Powell walked down this platform. And I remember after the church, in those days, Johnson, the pastor's study was right beside with the plexiglass. And I knocked on the door and I told the secretary I wanted to meet Reverend Powell. She looked down this little 11-year-old boy. She said, "Really?" She said, "Who should I say?" I said, "Reverend Al Sharpton."
That power means dignity. Means we're gonna walk side by side with you, or through you. We're gonna be with dignity and integrity. We don't want any more than you have, and we're not gonna accept any less than you have. That's my power.
In London, yeah. We've got many problems there. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go.
Dice. What's up, Doc? So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's going to do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action going to be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We've got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive. Yes, sir. There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength, we had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel it is important for you to understand that there's work out here to be done, but it starts with gratitude, it starts with giving, it starts with peace, it starts with love. Let's go.
Before we feed our family, we got to make sure that we feed the community. That's right. That's what it's all about. We got to come with Sharpton phones. You come and you make sure you show up, serve the community. That's what it's all about.
Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton for the month of February, Black History Month. The Saturday Action Rally will be at Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're glad as we transition into our new headquarters. Our 4 Saturdays of Black History Month, we'll be doing those rallies at Mother AME Zion. Stand on historic ground, holy ground, where Frederick Douglass spoke, where Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized, where Sojourner Truth had a Underground Railroad come through. I'm so excited about being there as it prepares us to move on to our new headquarters. Let's go back and stand on the rock that our people stood on for decades. Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. Let's go right back to Demetrius in Cleveland, Ohio. Demetrius.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sharpton. Yes, I just continue saying there's some people in jail now. I was referring to some celebrities like R. Kelly and P. Diddy. They was convicted because of some type of association with the females and illegally. Now, if they have to do their time, I don't think it's fair, for anybody to not have to do their time. Because even though they had financial means, they still have to do their time. I mean, that's because of their race. Now if Donald Trump, if he found that he took part in something illegal, that he shouldn't be, given a pass as well. Like, and it goes for anyone else. But also you look at the minority community, a number of people who are in prison who shouldn't be in prison. They just been accused of rape and so forth. And they come and we find out 10 or 20 years later they didn't commit the crime. So I believe there'd be an injustice, for this country, to have people doing time, that shouldn't be doing time, and yet we have evidence pictures and so forth, and evidence is being withheld that a crime may have been committed, and they want to exonerate them. But that's not fair to those people who doing time and those who falsely doing time until they be exonerated. Hopefully they will be exonerated. And also, like I said, it sent a wrong message to the public. It sent a wrong message to those who have decent behavior, who want to abuse people, because they feel like they can get away with it, especially if they have money, they have connections, and it will put fear into people who want to speak out to children, to being abused, to women, and to men as well. So it can't be no partiality if people really care for their fellow man. And also that, the first concern of redistricting is not just going to affect, one party. It's going to affect all the individuals, because the power will just be held in one group of people's hands. They don't go care about their circle of people within a party and making money for themselves. They're not going to care about anyone else below them. It can be Republicans or Democrats. So it's just that one party. It won't be just a Republican Party. They probably change it to another party, because they don't not want to include anyone else. It may just be big businesses, come together and control the country. It be the military. It might just want to be one man. That's why Donald Trump wanted to name so many different buildings after himself. Same thing they did in Russia with Stalin. He named a lot of buildings after himself. But even though Trump did that don't mean it's going to stay that way. Because when Stalin was out of power, they changed the buildings back to the name of it was before. You can't get carried away, then it's going to stay that way. Same way with the Civil War, with Confederates in different places as Confederates. But that was brought down. So he can't believe things going to stay the way just because he wanted to. The power is in the hands of the people. They just have to stand up and not be manipulated and be fooled and given their rights, their justice to vote, their rights for equal equality for education and employment, and to move up in this country and have the same liberty as anybody else, the rights to make money, the right to have an education, the right to have their freedom. They can't be duped and giving up their power for racist reasons, thinking just because they're a race, they're going to be protected. To me, it's all about some people have money and they want to keep the power to themselves, and the people that realize that and don't be fooled to thinking that they're going to get that power, either they black or white or any other group of people as well, because you have some Latinos being fooled, you have some blacks being fooled, you have some Caucasians being fooled as well. But it all boils down to it. It's those at the top want to maintain their money most of the time. Not all of them, but some of them, they want to maintain that money, they want to maintain that power. And if they can find a way they can always keep it, they don't have to go back to the district to get votes and make sure they stay in power. They're going to try to nationalize the government. they don't have to sponsor no one, just for themselves and for those who they're going to pay to help keep them in power in the black community or any other community. That's why people have to realize that they get pawns sometimes, and the little money they get from the top, it doesn't doesn't benefit their families in the future. It doesn't benefit the struggling people, no matter what race they is. But their children are the ones going to not have equal access to education, equal jobs, because they're going to be taken away from all Americans. All right, thank you, Reverend Sharpton. Let's continue. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Let's go right back into Tell It All Tuesday. I think Demetrius raised some vital points. Let me go to my next caller, and then maybe sum up both of them, because he went to ICE, he went to several issues. Let me see what's on Sky's mind. Sky in Richmond, Virginia. Sky, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, I'm keeping it real, Mr. Schaffner. First of all, we got to wake up and do our homework, like you stated on yesterday. Just, when you call you want us to do our homework, which I did a little studying on last night. I'm not in school, but I did some homework. We met Wes Moore, the governor from Maryland. He's the only black governor not have been invited into the bipartisan governor meeting hosted by Trump, which will be held on February 19th through the 21st. You got to also remember, I think Donald Trump not only going to not invite Mr. Moore, he's not even going to invite the Democratic Party. So Trump is only going to host a Republican governor meeting if possible. He's not going to take in consideration because, first of all, bipartisan means involving agreement or cooperation of two political parties that usually oppose each other's policies. So Donald Trump don't want to hear anything. But what I think we really need to do, too, Mr. Sharpton, we need to focus on it's called the disruption of parliamentary process back in 1930, 1933 with Adolf Hitler. They had with that being said, destruction of opposition meetings. Hitler would use stormtroopers to violently break up meetings and rival political organizations. Now, with that being said, August the 4th, 2025, Texas Governor Greg Abbott ordered the Texas Department of Public Safety to arrest Texan House Democratic people who fled the state because of to block the redistricting. So, we had that situation.
Right.
Then if you look at also the Enabling Act, Hitler used intimidation and threats of force to pass the Enabling Act, which allowed his cabinet to pass laws without parliamentary or House of Representatives and the Senate approval. Trump's decision to launch airstrikes on Iran, nuclear facilities, and other places of Venezuela without first consulting Congress. So that's a violation. So coordination. The Nazi brought all professional, social, cultural organizations under their control, replacing independent meetings with state-run Nazi approval only. Project 25 involves significant efforts to bring independent profession and cultural organizations under closer executive control to align them with a conservative agenda. So if we go back, you can clearly see that, and I remember talking to you once again, Mr. Sharpton, you said that Donald Trump sleeps, he had a book, his wife put out that he had a book on Hitler by his bed and he would read it. He's basically doing everything in that book. But if you could really, what I want to highlight is that disruption of parliamentary process, 1930, 1933. That is all. He is really
name that again, the disruption. What is it called again? The disruption of what?
Opposition meetings.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Disruption of parliamentary process. Let me spell parliamentary.
Hold on 1 minute. I want to finish this on the other side of the break because you open up an area I think we need to explore. Hold 1 minute. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back. you. Let me say, I wanted to come today on Martin Luther King Day. Because Martin Luther King died in Memphis fighting for wages for garbage workers. And I believe he would want those of us that come in his tradition to be standing with nurses and standing with those that should be getting wages for saving the lives and caring for people that the private hospitals and other hospitals seem not to care about. How can you spend King Day and turn your back on people that are working and not insured right and not given the right wages and not given the right respect when they're taking care of our afflicted, our ill, our infirm? In the name of Martin Luther King, I join the nurses in demanding justice for the nurses. This is not only a labor issue, this is a civil rights issue. This is a human rights issue. It's an issue that black and white, Latino, Asian, all can stand together. Because those that want to make profits out of people's illness, rather than pay for those that care for them, that stand for them, that are there when their families are not there in some cases. So we had to come on King Day. Many of the dignitaries came to the House of Justice, but I left to come and stand here with them to let them know that Martin Luther King Day is a day to stand up for those that are standing in the cold, but they never left the patients in the cold. No justice. No justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Sharpton. Thank you. Thank you.
All over the world today, people are gathered in love vigils to celebrate the life of a man that taught the world how to love. People may be wondering why there's such an emotional outburst, but you would have to understand the journey of Michael to understand what he meant to all of us. For these that sit here as the Jackson family, a mother and father with 9 children that rose from a working class family in Gary, Indiana. They had nothing but a dream. No one believed in those days that these kind of dreams could come true. But they kept on believing, and Michael never let the world turn him around from his dreams. I first met Michael around 1970, Black Expo, Chicago, Illinois, Reverend Jesse Jackson, who stood by this family till now. And from that day as a cute kid to this moment, he never gave up dreaming. It was that dream that changed culture all over the world. When Michael started, it was a different world. But because Michael kept going, because he didn't accept limitations, because he refused to let people decide his boundaries, he opened up the whole world. In the music world, he put on one glove, pulled his pants up, and broke down the color curtain, where now our videos are shown and magazines put us on the cover. It was Michael Jackson that brought blacks and whites and Asians and Latinos together. It was Michael Jackson that made us sing "We Are the World" and feed the hungry long before Live Aid. Because Michael Jackson kept going, he created a comfort level where people that felt they were separate became interconnected with his music. And it was that comfort level that kids from Japan and Ghana and France and Iowa and Pennsylvania got comfortable enough with each other to later it wasn't strange to us to watch Oprah on television. It wasn't strange to watch Tiger Woods golf. Those young kids grew up from being teenage, comfortable fans of Michael to being 40 years old and being comfortable to vote for a person of color to be the president of the United States of America. Michael did that. Michael made us love each other. Michael taught us to stand with each other. There are those that like to dig around mess, but millions around the world, we're going to uphold his message. It's not about mess, it's about his love message. As you climb up steep mountains, sometimes you scar your knee, sometimes you break your skin, but don't focus on the scars, focus on the journey. Michael Beater, Michael rose to the top. He outsang his cynics, he outdanced his doubters, he outperformed the pessimists. Every time he got knocked down, he got back up. Every time you counted him out, he came back in. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. Michael never stopped. I want to thank to Mrs. Jackson and Joe Jackson, his sisters and brothers. We thank you for giving us someone that taught us love. All right, good. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or go to the message board to www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Go to live stream. All right, let's go back to the phones as I get ready to deal with some of the messages. I do see Mayor Rodney Jones saying, I don't have time or energy for those who don't want to vote. Ignorance is bliss. And you know, when you have someone, Mr. Mayor, that's just adamant don't want to vote, what I try to discipline myself for is that they won't budge, so I get two more in their place. Just keep compensating for them in your own count. Say I'm going to get me 20 people, 30 people, I'm going to get the vote. If you ain't one of them, good. I'm going to get me two more to get I'm up to 6, I'm up to 8, I'm up to whatever it is. Just keep going. All right, let's, Sky, we finished with Sky, is that right? Yeah. All right, let's go to Taylor in Cleveland, Ohio, WERE. Taylor, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Keeping it real. How you doing, Reverend Al?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm fine. I just want to voice my opinion. I'm sick of all the foolishness in Washington. They're just trying to keep us distracted from what really needs to be addressed.
Right.
You know what we need to really address? They're sidestepping that. So we need to get on them, keep on them. Keep on them.
I love it. Thank you for your call. And you're absolutely...
You're welcome, Reverend Al.
You are absolutely right. I am convinced that part of the strategy of Trump and his crowd is flood the zone. I mean, they said that, and I thank you for your call. Flood the zone. Just keep stuff going so they're distracted. And so it's this one day, that the next day, something else the day after. And you don't look at the fact that he promised to bring down prices, inflation, and meat, eggs, other staples have gone up. But he got you distracted. You know, I'm going to go and grab the guy to Venezuela, just a bunch of stuff. And you don't notice that he's made multi-billion-dollar deals for his sons and his family and hasn't solved the problems of the debt for the United States debt because we're distracted, which is why you have to have people that'll keep you focused. You don't have to have the same opinion, but you have to be looking at the same problem that impacts us. So that's why I'm on the air radio 6 days a week, 7 days a week, really, when you count the Saturday rally. But I'm trying to say, wait a minute, this is what we ought to be concerned about. You don't have to be concerned the same way as me. You may disagree with the conclusion, but at least be looking at we ought to be looking at. All right, by way of announcements, and I'm going to Ira after the announcements, don't forget Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern every Saturday and Sunday. I'm already lining up some of the senators and the Congress people. I definitely want to get deep into this whole question of what they're going to do about the shutdown and ICE. I said at the beginning of the first hour that you have now some conservative members of the Senate saying they're not going to vote for the new spending bill if they do not see real concrete reforms in ICE. Well, I'm going to have them on the show whether they agree or not by Saturday. We need to know about that. We need to know what's going on with the redistricting. They're keeping Governor Westmore out of the bipartisan dinner, even though he's the vice chairman of the National Governors Association. I had him on the show last Saturday, just past Saturday. Outrageous, because they want to redraw the district lines in his state, and he's fighting it and trying to get the state legislature in Maryland to pass it. I think they just need one Democrat who's holding out. Those are the issues I deal with that are vital. So watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 every Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. And then again, you that are in the tri-state area, we're having such a marvelous time at Black History Month Saturday Action Rally at the Mother AME Zion Church in Harlem, 137th between Lenox and 7th. We are there all of the Black History Month into March, and then we're going to move into our new permanent headquarters of National Action Network. Reverend Al, where you moving? I haven't told you yet, so stop asking. We are every Saturday at Mother AME Zion. Nothing has changed. The rallies, same on the air, same way on nationalactionnetwork.net, on Impact TV, and on, for those in the New York region, WBLS 107.5 FM. We live every Saturday, same, but we're doing it from a historic site. I mean, it just gives me a different feeling standing there where Frederick Douglass spoke and Madam C.J. Walker's funeral was, and Paul Robeson was a member of the church, just sitting in the pews out there. So join us, be with us. And so many in sub-zero weather was there Saturday. I was very happy with that. And I think we picked up 5 new members that had never been to a rally or had been and never joined. So come on out. And then the convention, like I said, we're getting real close to cutoff because we have to save seats for those students that we're picking up that come into the convention from the tour, the HBCU tour that National Action Network's doing. and we have to take care of our chapters. So go and register today, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, or go to our toll-free number, 1-877-626-4651. The office is open, operating out of Harlem's Commonwealth Council. Nothing has changed. We was able to make the move and not miss a day with the office and crisis department or huddle or our Thursdays sessions, our legal night Thursdays, all of that still operating as we get ready for the big move. All right, let's go to the phone. Let me go to Ira in Washington, D.C. Ira, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Hey, good evening, Reverend Sharpton. Thanks for taking my call. And I'm just going to keep it short and brief real quick. I saw an article. I had to research it, make sure it's not AI, but it was an article that showed that Donald Trump and the Epstein files, that his son, Donald Jr., and all his daughter as well, are included in that Epstein scandal and did some underhanded stuff with underage kids. And allegedly, 47 had actually put his hands in these young kids, and they sold these young kids. And they said allegedly half of them, allegedly, under the golf course.
If it's evidence of that, why don't they make it public?
Because evidently they're scared, or they don't want nobody to know, or they paid somebody not to say it. If it is, they would investigate. But this is what they're saying. So I got to research that and make sure that is true.
Do the research and find out why they didn't make it public. Thank you for your call. And the only reason I'm saying that is that they would love to go out there and say that I said that we had this information, and I'm not saying that you are, and they'd like to come after me and the stations that I'm on. We're on stations all over the country, and Sirius XM and YouTube, and I'm not going to put myself and them any legal exposure by making claims we don't have. I believe there's a lot of culpability that we've not uncovered, but I'm not going to specifically name people that I do not have the evidence to back up. Nor am I going to let callers say that without saying, how do we back it up? Because you cannot put at risk the licenses of those stations that carry this show, having the show. So let's be real clear. And I think we get it really, really right. I think we right on a break, so I don't want to go to a call if I got to break in. So let's go ahead and do the break, and I'll come back. More of you on the phones, 1-877-532-5797, Sharpton, keeping it real. Be right back. Hi, this is Reverend Al Sharpton for the month of February, Black History Month. The Saturday Action Rally will be at Mother AME Zion Church, 137th Street, between Lenox and 7th Avenues from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're glad as we transition into our new headquarters. Our 4 Saturdays of Black History Month, we'll be doing those rallies at Mother AME Zion. Stand on historic ground, holy ground, where Frederick Douglass spoke, where Madam C.J. Walker was funeralized, where Sojourner Truth had a Underground Railroad come through. I'm so excited about being there as it prepares us to move on to our new headquarters. Let's go back and stand on the rock that our people stood on for decades.
Welcome back, everybody. My next guest is a TV and radio personality. He's an activist and the author of a new book, The Rejected Stone, Al Sharpton and the Path to American Leadership. Please welcome my friend, Reverend Al Sharpton. Ram, how you doing?
Good.
Oh, look at you. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are
Boy,
you?
you getting sharper and sharper.
No, I'll try to be like you.
Man, I'm trying to get my weight together, man. You look good. How much weight have you lost?
All told, about 120 pounds.
That's been great, man. I'm gonna get into this book, but I gotta tell you, man, I really do appreciate your stand for the small man. I think it's the common man that has really connected with you over the years, and the common cause, I think, has been very, very effective.
Well, thank you. That's what my ministry is all about.
Yeah.
You have to know in life what your passion is, what gets you up in the morning. And that's my passion. And I once you lose it, you should get out of it and do something else.
Right. Now, it's been 10 years since your last book. Why is this one really important to you at this point?
You know, people stop me all over wherever I'm traveling and say to me, you've changed so much. You've gone radio now, TV every day. Your National Action Network has gotten formidable. You go to the White House, and you lost a lot of weight. How did you transform yourself? I want to go to the next level in my life. And I thought about it. I said, rather than just talk politics, I want to write a book about how anybody, any race, any religion, can transform themselves and go to the next step in life and not be afraid to do it, because you can do it.
Right.
And I'm a billboard of that.
Right, exactly. Just like me, Reverend Al Sharpton has some principles that he lives by, characteristics of being a leader. So what's the first principle that you say makes a person a leader?
You have to first decide where you're going. You know, most people never arrive because they don't have a destination. If you go to the airport, first thing you have to decide is where you're going. You can't even price the ticket, get through security nowhere if you're not going anywhere.
Right.
And we hang out in the airports of life. That's the first thing you have to do. Second, you can't be afraid to think big and be big. We all are born a certain race, certain, economic class. We put in categories. You got to think bigger than that. And lastly, be consistent and disciplined. And I think that discipline is something that a lot of people cannot apply, which robs them of their greatness. So in the book, I talk about how I learned. I give anecdotes. You know, I was very close with James Brown, the singer. He was like a father of mine. Michael Jackson. I talk about my relationship with the president. And I talk about how I learned these things and different things from different people, because nobody gets big by accident. You have to do it by having a diligent plan.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, it's that thinking big part that stops a lot of people, because they see themselves in their environment only. You know, my mother, when I was small, used to bring home travel magazines. And my father didn't understand, why you buying all these travel magazines? We ain't got no money to go to these places. She said, it's for Steve now, the kids, because I want them to see other places, because one day they will be able to go. And I saw Aruba. I was snorkeling in the Barrier Reef at 9. No money to get there, but it was them making me see it.
From the Bible, the rejected stone to be the cornerstone. We've all been rejects, whether in our homes, whether in our jobs, whether in our life. And what I've learned is you can be the biggest reject in the world. Media used to demonize me. But if you learn to embrace and accept yourself, then soon the world will have to join your embrace. So I found I couldn't be somebody else. So I fell in love with Al Sharpton. I've been the president, chairman of the board, secretary, and only member of the Al Sharpton fan club. We made it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got another fan in me, my friend, because you have taught me so many things, and you have come to my aid in some really dark moments. I thank you for your friendship.
Thank you.
And listen to me, folks. For more about his principles on leadership, all you got to do is pick up his new book. It's called The Rejected Stone. I think there's some information in there for anybody that's trying to make it, okay? Make sure you pick up a copy. We'll be right back. Reverend Al Sharpton, everybody.
Do you know what time it is? It's Al Sharpton time. It's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. You need to keep it real with Reverend Al Sharpton right here on Uber TV. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. Every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, the call-in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
Happy 20th anniversary to Reverend Al Sharpton on 20 years of Keeping It Real. 2 decades of truth-telling, fearless advocacy, and keeping the people informed and empowered. Thank you for always speaking power to justice and standing firm for what's right. Here's to 20 years of impact and many more to come.
Thank you. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Or you can go to the message board at nationalactionnetwork.net and go to live stream and give us a message. Let's go to James in Atlanta, Georgia. James?
Yes, sir, Reverend Sharpton.
Yeah.
Reverend Sharpton, as I was on hold, I heard some of the news by Sybil. She mentioned that President Obama, he's been ignoring what came out, the race bait that was released last week about him and Michelle, Ms. Obama. And he's posting about congratulating the athletes at the Winter.
Rev, I got wall run too.
They're focusing on 40 million views, 40 million likes.
They 40 million likes on what?
He posts, President Obama has been congratulating the athletes at the Winter Olympics.
Right.
So he's been ignoring what this guy put out last week. One way to sort of get him to stop sending out these raised baits as distractions is to ignore them, and that decreases the energy around those type of actions. That's attention. Take away the attention. Do not give it attention.
All right.
And you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think I do. I think that. All right, well, break it down because you're saying that Obama shouldn't or should do what are you saying?
Well, as I was on hold, I heard the news from Sybil Wilkes. She said that President Obama has basically been ignoring what he sent out last week.
Annoyed?
President Obama
He's been annoyed?
Ignoring.
Okay.
He has not been paying attention to it. President Obama has been sending out posts congratulating the athletes at the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, he did.
He's already had, 40 million posts or 40 million likes or whatever it is. So that's what he's focusing on. And I think to pay less attention, give less attention to these rape baits that he sends out sometimes, the occupant of the Oval Office, where that diffuses. The less attention you give it, that diffuses the energy around it. And he will do less of it.
Okay, now I get your point.
So
All
those
right.
are distractions. And one other point. You know what else happened last week, Reverend Sharpton?
Mm-hmm.
You had the Argentina court sent a court notice to the United States asking to extradite Maduro to Argentina. So let's get this in line here. So 20 or 40 billion dollars was sent to Argentina, right? We don't know what happened to the money. What are we getting back from this 20 to 40 billion dollars that was sent? Did someone receive a broker fee from that? 500 million or $1 billion from that. So then he goes to extract Maduro, but now Argentina is requesting that Maduro be extradited to Argentina. So what is happening here?
That's a good question. That's a very good question. All right, thank you for your call. I'm joined as I am every Tuesday at this hour by the senior pastor of the First Corinthian Baptist Church in Harlem, New York, member of the National Board of National Action Network, the Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron. How you doing, Reverend?
Pretty good, Reverend Sharpton. How are you today?
Pretty good. Now, I was anxious for you to come on this weekend. I'm going to other callers, but you travel a lot. You're building a ministry on the West Coast, so you're bi-coastal, and having staying with your established megachurch here in New York, and then building in L.A. You have to encounter different issues because in different locations and localities, though there's a central theme, there are specific differences. One of the things that I wanted to raise to you is how some communities, and I'm talking about black folks, say that we have no interest, we should not be involved in the deportation issue or the ICE issue. And I've heard that from not a lot of activist crowd, but just people moving around. Have you heard that, and what is your response to that?
Well, my response, first, it's actually tragic. I think what we can't be is so fixated on the injustices we face and the oppressive regimes we encounter and not be concerned with others who experience oppressive regimes. We can't be, this is like you and I stand the King legacy. And Dr. King, he moved from civil rights to human rights. He understood it was bigger than just what the issues we wrestle with, that there are people all around the globe who deal with dehumanization. And in this country, we see it every day, different factions of our country experiencing dehumanization. And so we can't get to the point where we get so fixated only on the things that impact us. We don't think about things that impact other people. So I would say that I've heard that talk, but I think it goes against a lot of the liberation themes that have shaped our struggle in this country. That in the past, we didn't see leaders just singularly focus on what impact black people. I also remind people of the Black Panther parties thing was when you heard people like Fred Hampton, who was murdered, assassinated at 21, he was going around organizing, not just in black communities, but in white communities, even in those communities that were historically racist, and Latino communities, Native American communities. And so he had a thing, Rev, he would say white power to white people, black power to black people, yellow power to yellow people, red power to red people, all power to all people.
Right.
And he became a threat because he understood the power of unifying against a common enemy, which wasn't just the government, it was rallying against the capitalistic system that reinforced oppression. So I think that we can't get to a point where we're so disconnected from another human being that we say, well, that's your issue, it's not mine. Remind you of something I heard James Baldwin, quote attributed to James Baldwin. I don't know if it's uniquely James Baldwin's, but it was attributed to him. And he said, listen, and I think he pulled somebody, he quoted it, either way, and said, listen, if they come for me at night, they're going to come for you in the morning. And that's reality.
Right.
Don't think that these strategies are just for people who they deem as quote-unquote illegal immigrants. These are old strategies that we know about intimately in the history of black community, of being targeted by the black codes, and we just talk about the history. So just because there are people who think this is not our issue, it really is our issue, because at the end of the day, we're both rallying against systemic entities that seek to undermine human beings in this country.
Well, I totally agree. I mean, what I've said to people is that they are testing how far they can go in terms of not dealing with abiding by laws and not dealing with abiding by what is accepted boundaries of law enforcement. So if they can break all the rules with shooting Renee Good or shooting the gentleman, then they can break all the rules shooting us, because they can use that as the precedent. So they're in many ways auditioning where they want to go in suspending certain social justice laws now and certain accepted policies. The other thing on a practical level is if they're dealing with deportation, your church is 116th Street and 7th Avenue. Well, right up the block, you've got a Sudanese community. You've got a community from Guinea.
Senegalese.
And Senegalese, right? Well, how do they know, walking down the street, the difference between somebody from Senegal and somebody from Georgia? You look the same to them. So once you allow them based on race to just grab people, you'll be held 3 or 4 days trying to prove you from Augusta, Georgia, rather than Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I mean, it is so clearly making all of us vulnerable. I don't understand why some of us don't understand it.
Not only making us all vulnerable, but it shows how kind of narrow we can be in what we deem as social justice or even activism. We can't get to a point, one, where we have this kind of competition of the oppressed, because that has happened in history and it doesn't work out. But again, we cannot afford to say, well, our issues are our issues, your issues, your issues. No movement that has led to liberation on some level, or the destruction or the tearing down of certain laws that were instituted in this country happened just because one group of people came together. It was always numerous people. You didn't just have a Frederick Douglass fighting against slavery. You had white abolitionists also fighting against slavery. And so we have to keep that in mind, that there's no one group who can participate in liberating just themselves. There's always allies and partnerships, and seeing who the larger enemy is as we fight for justice.
All right, let's get ready to take a break. And Happiness Donuts, it says Alex Pretty. She saw that I was trying to remember the name, didn't have it. Thanks for the assist. See, that's what the New England Patriots needed on Sunday, some assistance. I got Happiness Donuts, assistance, so I can go across the goal line. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Walron. Be right back. It is really a intersection of both emotions, because when I was 11 or 12 years old, so I watched the news a lot, and I became enthralled with the image of Adam Clayton Powell. I was around 11 and I convinced my mother to let me come up to this church to see Adam Clayton Powell. And in those days, people in Brooklyn used to say it's dangerous to go to Harlem. And folk in Harlem used to say it's dangerous to go to Brooklyn. Now, to 135th Street, and I came, sat right back there, and Adam Clayton Powell walked down this platform. And I remember after this church, in those days, Johnson, the pastor's study was right inside with the plexiglass. And I knocked on the door and I told the secretary I wanted to meet Reverend Powell. She looked down this little 11-year-old boy. She said, really? She said, who should I say? I said, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Platforming dignity means we're gonna walk side by side with you or through you. We're gonna be with dignity and integrity. We don't want any more than you have, and we're not gonna accept any less than you have. That's my thought.
In Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream.
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Just wait. I believe that.
Good morning, everybody. I hope the coffee has kicked in by now. I want to start by thanking your leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton, and everyone at the National Action Network for 35 years of standing up for civil rights and opportunity for everyone.
And I couldn't be more grateful for the way that you have blessed the lives of so many, including mine.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Let us remember now as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This was an amazing MLK breakfast.
It is truly an honor, and more importantly, this is an important day for us.
I feel incredibly lucky and honored to be in this room on this day, celebrating Dr. King's legacy of civil rights, especially in the moment that we're facing on a national level. It feels like warmth and home being in this room.
So I'm encouraged by today. I'm encouraged that we're getting out, we're protesting, but more needs to be done. We need to lean in.
And let's keep fighting because the job is not done here. And I just feel so honored to get this award. It's not about getting an award, it's about doing the work. And let's keep up with the work.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, National Action Network. She just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
As we look today on King Day, let us not forget that we had to struggle to even have this day. They did not wake up one morning and say, let's give a federal holiday to Martin Luther King. People petitioned, people marched. Mrs. Coretta Scott King, who never has gotten the credit she deserves in being the force behind this movement. Congressman John Conyers, Stevie Wonder, and others. And Ronald Reagan, who had called Martin Luther King a communist, ended up being the president that had to sign the bill for Martin Luther King's federal holiday. The reason why we know struggle works is this holiday is a result of struggle, signed by a president that never thought it would be. Let us remember now, as we bring our children and grandchildren up the Potomac, that they can see the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the Jefferson Memorial, and one memorial that never served as president, but changed this country more than any other American, Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. But we gather this morning because everything Dr. King stood for is at risk. As we speak, we're waiting to see what the Supreme Court will do with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, one of the major achievements of the King movement. As we speak this morning, this sitting president has declared war on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is the core of the Civil Rights Act of '64. We are under attack, and we should not be taking this as a day off. This is a day on to fight to keep what was maintained. To see, I remember 6 years ago, Martin III and I were in Minneapolis leading the marches around George Floyd. I did the eulogy at his funeral. 6 years later, we see a white female, unarmed, killed in Minneapolis. We see people being racially profiled. We see that there are those that would want this to be the last federal holiday named after King. Don't you be deceived. This sitting president and his cohorts would want to end Martin Luther King Day. But just like we will not let them end this day, we will not let them end voting rights and Civil Rights Act and DEI. It's not enough to remember and honor the dreamer and let them kill the dream. And that's why National Action Network has every year started in Washington, D.C. with this breakfast, and then we go to New York with our public policy forum. And every year we try to set Keeping It Real. Go into I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron is our co-host. Let's go to RT in St. Louis, Missouri. RT.
Yes, sir. Thank you, and good afternoon to you and your co-host, the Rev. I told the producer I would like to talk about immigration for a minute. I was listening to a conservative talk radio station, and the host was saying that these undocumented immigrants are draining the resources in these cities, Reverend Sharpton. So I did 2 Google searches. The first Google search was, are undocumented immigrants eligible for food assistance in the U.S.? And the answer that came back says no. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for SNAP benefits. The second Google search was, are undocumented immigrants eligible for housing? The answer came back says no. Undocumented immigrants are not eligible for public housing in this country. And it went on further to say, Reverend Sharpton, that under President Trump's big, beautiful bill, even immigrants who are here on temporary work and student visas are not eligible for food assistance or public housing. So when President Trump, Kristi Noem, the Homeland Security, and Tom Homan, the border czar, says that there's millions of people who have come into this country illegally, the question I have for them is, if they're not eligible for food assistance, housing, if they don't have IDs or Social Security to get jobs, then who's taking care of these people? I mean, are they out in the forest, Reverend Sharpton, just eating juniper berries and catching wild rabbits? I mean,
no,
right?
See, I think the litany of things you've said leads to the answer. Who's taking advantage of is those corporations, those stores, those other entities that work them off the books and that use them without having to pay the right wages to them, and therefore sidestep paying the legal wages to us and others. They're the ones that are the criminals, not the ones that are doing anything to get out of wherever they were and try to find a life to become legally here. So I think you hit it right on the head. Who's benefiting from this? Certainly not those immigrants that are being exploited, and not us that is being pitted against them, but the ones that are manipulating both of us. That's who is benefiting from this.
And yes, and just the last comment, what American family, the financial situation that most Americans are in right now, what American family has the money to take care of some guy who just swam across the Rio Grande River? So I'll say what I said last week.
Right.
More than 90% of the people who are here are here illegally because their visas have expired, and that's it. That has nothing to do with them coming into the country illegally
at all. That's right. Thank you for your call. Let me go to the sage of the South, Brother Jihad. Brother Jihad, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Walron.
Hey, good afternoon to both of you.
Good afternoon.
I'll be real quick, Brother Al. I'm still stuck on this distraction concept, so let me throw that at you first. I mean, Venezuela was not a distraction. It was an agenda that they had planned over a year since they got in office to take back over the natural resources of the Venezuelan government. Iran is not a distraction. Iran has been what they consider a nemesis in the Middle East for a long time. And they figure now that Iran is at its weakest point, it's time to destroy Iran. The terrorists are not a distraction. You know what I mean? The terrorists were instituted to get income from the foreign governments who he said in his first administration were taking advantage of us. These are agendas that he's putting forth. And when we describe them as distractions, they're not distractions. They're total agendas, programs. Demoralizing President Obama, he's been on that agenda for years. So this is not, he didn't say to put the monkey picture up so that we wouldn't talk about Epstein. This is his agenda. You know what I mean? For those who don't remember, they said earlier that they will attack the 13th and 14th Amendment. They will challenge that in court. They mentioned that early in this conversation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the idea that they would now come after us, and after they finish with the immigrants, you know what I mean? This is not an illusion. You know what I mean? And those black brothers and sisters who keep saying that this is not our problem, in my opinion, they work on behalf of white supremacy. White supremacy thrives in division and ignorance. And let me say this, ignorance, because clearly if they studied our history, we were the minority in America. We could not achieve liberation or end slavery by ourselves. So suppose the white people in other countries had said, that's not our issue. That's an American issue. How they handle them slaves is up to them. As opposed to the whites in the North would have said, well, that's a Southern issue. Let the whites in the South handle slavery the way they want to handle it. So clearly, when you study the history, you see that the common sense, or as the Reverend said, the people with decency and humanity, they don't measure their life on whether they help based upon whether that issue initially affects me or not. You know what I mean? And we even see that spread in our own communities where we won't help certain groups in our community if they're not from a certain neighborhood or they're not of a certain status. How they suffer, how the poor suffer is not my issue. I got my job. I'm doing what I got to do. How the average American suffers is not my issue. I'm making them. I'm enjoying life. I work every day. You know what I mean? So that mindset is an evil, devilish, white supremacist mindset and concept. And Reverend Al, most of all, it's ignorant, to be honest with you.
That's
you
right.
might not want to call them that, but I'm going to call it ignorant. Thank y'all very much. Just wanted to
All
say
right,
that.
thank
Reverend
you
Al.
for your
Appreciate it.
call. And I think he raises some good points, Dr. Walron. I mean, a lot of it is ignorance, some willful ignorance, some just being willfully manipulated. But it is ignorant to dealing with the facts.
Absolutely, I think it is. It's steeped in ignorance. I'm glad he said it. I think, it's ignorance of history. It's ignorance of our struggle in this country, and it's ignorant of the idea. It's a lack of knowledge of how we got where we are right now. You know, I'm gonna go back to what I said earlier. We have to get to a point where we're able to identify the systemic challenges we face and the systemic evils that are run rampant in this system, in this culture, in this country, through this government and this administration, impact all of us, not just one particular group. And as the caller said, part of it is to divide us. If we start saying, well, that's not my issue, that oppression don't really concern me, and this oppression don't concern me, but this is the oppressive structures I deal with. When we begin to play into that narrative, we actually play into the hands of the power that we're trying to destroy, actually, for lack of a better word, and in this administration, what they do. Division among those who are all suffering under Caesar only strengthens Caesar, and the empire wins.
No question about it. Let me go to Fred in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Fred.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. How are you? Pretty good. Well, that brother, he said some of the things I wanted to talk about when it came to us caring, you know, because he hit it on the hill. It's just ignorance and not knowing our history. And even when, you know, people like to quote Malcolm X, but remember, Malcolm changed and he went to Mecca and he saw there's people of belief of all colors, you know. So, you know, he hit it, so I won't say anything else. But I wanted to ask you, are you aware of the organization NOBLE, the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives?
Yeah, I'm very familiar.
Okay, because I was going to say, like the one brother that called earlier, I believe he was from Milwaukee also. You know, they can, you know, they have an agenda. They can tell you as far as what their response is, because they have over 60 chapters.
Right.
And, you know, as far as dealing with ICE and things in the federal government and how they're going to interact with that. The other thing I was going to say, this is the time for the Democratic governors to stand
Wait, hold 1 minute. I hear the music. Let me hold you over so you can make your point. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
That I want to end. He talked about the dry bones in the valley.
I'll tell you that.
The only reason that the wind could blow life into the bones is because at some point they had to be connected. If the wind had blown into a disconnected body, it still wouldn't have worked. So before he prophesied to the wind, they had to first get the foot bone to connect to the ankle bone, and the ankle bone to the calf bone, and to the knee bone, and the knee bone to the thigh bone. If we are to prophesy to the wind, we must first connect this body. We must connect Eddie Long to Farrakhan and Cornel West to Elders and Lowry to Sharpton. If we can connect this body, then God will blow the breath of life into our community. But as long as we are disconnected, the wind can't blow because it's blowing on disconnected dry bones. But the good news is that we're the children of people that been through worse than this, and we're still here. So even though I get despondent, I don't ever get depressed, because I want the world to know you won't beat us, because we're the children of those that took the worst form of slavery and brutality that ever lived, that ever existed. Our parents survived the Middle Passage. Only the strong got here, and then we lost our name, our culture, our religion, and we're still here. But you don't know who we are. We're the children of Chaka Zulu. We're the children of Mary McLeod Bethune. We're the children of Marcus Garvey. We're the children of Martin Luther King. We'll be here. We were first, and we'll be last. We know who we are.
We have a short visit today, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Sir, it's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you
you.
been?
Doing fine. Good.
Last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have the slavery.
Yeah, that's what, exactly. That was, exactly.
The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road with me. I went for his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's kitchen. From South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James and Jesse.
Yeah.
Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And where I knew Jesse was from James. You know, I started president.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and helped him push the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 45, because Greenville right up to I-20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you got to listen to me. But some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there. And act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron, so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf, because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're going to have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we still marched. And I'm going to keep marching.
your host.
I'm going to keep agitating.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back.
Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walront is our co-host. And I'm going back to Fred. Before I go to you, Fred, though, let me remind people that you must watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 p.m. Eastern Time every Saturday and Sunday. And I know it's only Tuesday, but I'm already booking some of these governors and mayors, because by the end of the week, we will know with whether that or not the Congress, or some members of Congress and the Senate, whether they had gone forward with the funding of ICE and DHS, and what did they get, or what didn't they get, or why didn't they get it, or what they're doing. I'm going to have on some of our Black history moments that need to be cited, that is being forgotten or overlooked, or they're heightening the attention, in my opinion, on aspects that make them comfortable rather than telling the real history. And I think that it is extremely important that we also are very, very careful to make sure that the truth comes out in terms of the Epstein files, and I'll certainly be dealing with that. Reverend Dr. Walront, what's going on at FCBC?
And we're moving along. Last Sunday of February, we celebrate, it's our annual Black History Month celebration, but we also combine it with something we call Rev hats, hymns, and robes. It's kind of our paying homage to old school worship and the tradition of worship. Like all our pastors, clergy wear robes. And you know I don't wear robes, but on that day I do wear robes.
Oh, okay.
We'll be out there, and it's an amazing service and celebration and remembrance of the kind of ecclesial roots we come from in our tradition. So that's the last Sunday of the month. And then, Rev, that's the 22nd and the 23rd. I don't even think I got a chance to tell you, we're headed to Egypt. So
I did not know that.
Yeah, we have 188 people from the church going to Egypt from the 23rd of March, on February to the 3rd of March.
Wow, 188?
Yeah.
That's going to be some trip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing time. So we're excited about that, but that's a real strong way to close out Black History Month, taking a trip to Africa, to Egypt in particular.
I love it. I love it. Let's go back to Fred. Fred in Milwaukee. Go ahead. You're keeping it real with Sharpton and Walront.
Hey, so just two more things. So going back to the governor, this is the opportunity for the Democratic governor to show unity, that if you disinvite one, we're all not coming. You know, because that's just like if we invite you, but no, your daughter can't come. No, show support, show that we're united. Don't do like Congress and where there's some sell out. They got to get off snooze where if there's an issue that involves one of us, it affects all of us, and so that's something that they have to do because they shouldn't show up, in my opinion. And the last thing I was going to say regarding the Epstein files, people also should be looking if they're available for the court dockets and the court records from his trial, his co-defendant trial, because to see if they're related. You can see where the Justice Department left people alone that they knew about that were pedophiles and they didn't prosecute them, and, versus what evidence was presented in court, because they can't change that. Right now, we don't know what the Justice Department is giving us. They can change pages, they can do a lot of stuff, and the only people that would know for sure is former prosecutors that investigated if they have that information.
So, and I agree with that. Thank you for your call. Dr. Walron, when Fred was talking, it brought to mind to me that there's some things, and I'm going to bring this to one of the congressmen on that panel on the show this weekend, some things that they can do that would really smack in the face of what lines they're using them at Department of Justice. They're saying they're redacting some things to protect the victims, which sounds reasonable and should be done. But what about the victims that have gone public, that have gone and stood up on the steps of the Capitol with members of Congress saying they want justice, they want it all exposed?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't they get those victims' files and expose them? Those victims have made themselves public. So what are you protecting them from? They're asking you to make it public.
Absolutely. Yeah, but Rev, it goes what we've talked about ad nauseum. This kind of inconsistency, this kind of quote unquote moral inconsistency. So you are protecting the identity of the victims, but you're not honoring the victims who are not afraid of their identity being revealed.
Right.
You're not honoring their desire for justice. It's an inconsistency. We've seen it. You basically kidnap Venezuela president, but then you pardon another one who's a drug dealer. I mean, it's just glaring inconsistencies, glaring ethical inconsistencies that have become the norm in this administration. And we know at the end of the day, any talk about justice, any talk about fairness is a smokescreen, and it's not even real. You can't take it seriously because there's been no consistent attempt to demonstrate acts of justice or fairness or even goodness in many ways.
Yeah.
Just like today, the refusal to talk about Renee Good and Pretty. I mean, in the congressional hearing, it's insane. But what we do know is that this is what some people signed up for when they voted, and that's why these midterms are coming. 2028 is coming, and we have to be vigilant about how we turn out votes in different places in this country.
And no doubt that is the priority. Let me go to D, my friend D in Atlanta, Georgia. D.
Hey, Rev, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
And you're there with I'm a Spelman college graduate, so you're there with my little brother from Morehouse. Hello,
That's
Reverend.
Right.
Yes, one day I hope you will do a show, Rev, just on the nation's health care, because it's something that's been on my mind the last couple of days. I was thinking about how the United States healthcare system is mostly private and non-universal system, but it's the most expensive in the world, and yet it often results in lower life expectancy and higher rates of preventable death than any other high-income nation. And I'm really thinking about it because in the last couple of weeks, I have health insurance, I have dental insurance, but I figured out yesterday that I have spent over $2,400 on dental health care. So what are people doing who aren't like me who don't have insurance?
Right.
Or even if you do have the insurance, you can't afford your portion.
No, very good point. I love it. You were exactly right and on target as always. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Let me go to Lola in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WURD. Word. Lola.
Yes, Reverend Al, and hello to your guests. We're on our way to the rally for Avenging the Ancestors, for them taking down the plaques for the enslaved people that were enslaved by Washington. But what I call for is that
that's a great thing to do. That rally is very necessary.
Yes, we're in my truck. All of us are heading down there now, but I had to call. They're not protecting victims. They're protecting predators. They're protecting themselves, and they're protecting pedophiles, because these files are from 2010, 2011, 29. We're talking about maybe 15, 20 years ago. Well, yeah, maybe 10, 15 years ago. So we should protect victims, but a lot of those victims, like you just said, have already outed themselves, and not only that, they're also adults now. And so they need to let it all out, because we cannot live in a country where the highest people who are governing this country are involved in pedophilia, are involved in racketeering, are involved in corruption, are involved in everything that is taking this country down. And then I also wanted to say, Reverend Al, that I wanted to just give you another spin on maybe how some people feel. I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm just giving you another spin on how some people feel. It's not that people don't want to get involved in the protests and all the stuff with immigration, but black people have always been on the chopping block. And 98% of black women and almost 80% of black men voted for Harris. And a lot of people are fatigued out. And I'm not saying that that's right, because a lot of people now have not been through and don't know the sacrifice that our ancestors went through to get through Jim Crow. They don't know what it takes in the sacrifice. And so that's why a lot of people have not come out. And a lot of people know that they want us to get out there so they can try to kill us and shoot us, and he can call martial law. So I think a lot of people are saying back, be like, no, we're not going to let him bait us so he can call martial law so we won't get out and vote.
No, I think
a lot of people are afraid.
Wait. Let me be clear. Okay. I've not said that. Okay. Why haven't black people been out there? Because I didn't go to Minneapolis, and they begged me 3 or 4 times, and I said they'll blame one rock on me. I said that those that are speaking out against those that are fighting for immigration rights and for the rights of those. I'm talking about those that get on the radio, that get on social media, and are opposed to those of us that are saying it's wrong. I'm not saying they should be at the rallies or go down to Minneapolis. I'm not saying they shouldn't either, and there are blacks in Minneapolis involved. I'm talking about those that sit back and criticize those of us that say they're wrong what Trump is doing in terms of deportation. That's what I'm talking about.
Right, and I agree with you, Reverend Al, because if one rock or one boulder got thrown, they would blame it on you. But I also think
I'd have been Don Lemon before Don Lemon if I'd went down there. I'm sure that.
Exactly, and we have to be able to vote in May. And I think once we have some of the laws or the flip the Senate or the House, because think about it, if a whole bunch of black people go out there getting all riled up and stuff, then he's going to really cause something, and then we won't even be able to vote. And so I think a lot of people trying to play the long games is like, let's get able to vote. So if somebody does come after us or does try to shoot us and kill us, at least we'll have some of the Senate or the Congress hold these people responsible, because nobody, Reverend Al, is being held responsible for anything, or from the president to not banning, but all the people in his administration, Bondi, Patel, all of them. Nobody's being held accountable for all the stuff that's happening.
I agree.
So we cannot live in a world like this.
I agree we've got to play the long game, and I agree we've got to, in the short game, make sure that we're on the right side as we speak and as we do what we do. Strategy, I think that's what you're saying, and I think we've got to be strategic. And I think it is very, very important. Let me thank Reverend Dr. Michael A. Walron. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell everybody, tell anybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Keep it real.